items will be donated to #LunchOnMe, an organization built to empower and support people living on Skid Row. 10 people died after 3 months' worth of rain fell in a 6-hour span in southern France. President Trump is on his way to surpassing Obama's total travel expenses in just 1 year. The NPHC played a vital role in uniting black students as they fought for equal rights and fair treatment under the law. The USDA budget proposal says they plan on reducing the number of people receiving benefits. This goes for the both of you again. People who aren't affected by a disaster, they often want to help. What would you guys say would be the best way to help? The Trump administration wants to change the way people receive food stamps by replacing cards with monthly food boxes. The box would include only shelf-stable foods such as canned goods, rice, pasta, and other processed foods. CalFresh recipient Elizabeth Martin says she would like the choice to cook homemade meals for her son.
I personally have a young child, and I'd like to prepare him food that I make and not something that is just like canned and delivered to my house.
Over the next 10 years, the USDA estimates that they could cut SNAP costs in half and save up to $129 billion. CSUN food science professor Dr. Garcia Torres fears that the government will not provide nutritious food.
There's the risk of the government going with whatever is cheaper or easier to get versus nutrient content.
In 2017, about 42 million people received government assistance through the SNAP program. By 2019, the USDA budget proposal says they plan on reducing the number of people receiving benefits. From Northridge, I'm Katherine Molina. North Hills is a community in the north central San Fernando Valley with a population of more than 143,000 residents. By the end of the year, the number of residents is expected to rise due to more apartment complexes being built on the east side. Renters make up 60% of the population and fear that the limited parking spaces in the community will become worse. Apartment renter Maria Cruz says her family has a difficult time finding parking for 2 additional cars.
Let's hope that we don't struggle later with parking because it's already difficult, and with more residents, we won't have any parking.
And it's not right. It's just not right.
Homeowner Charles Johnson says he has a space for himself to park in his driveway, but if they build more complexes, the traffic will spill into the neighborhood.
I see them all the time. They'll come in with maybe 3 or 4 cars and they park them along the curb, and they all get in one car and go back. See, it's becoming a way of life for them.
It is unclear how many units will be in each building, but one apartment complex is set to be done by the end of the year and another by early 2019. In North Hills, I'm Katherine Molina. Last Train to Nowhere was an impromptu concert organized by a Los Angeles rapper to support the homeless. David Sebastian promoted on social media he'd be performing on the Metro in exchange for donations.
Really just bringing an experience to LA.
Coordinator and press liaison Roma Khan gathered donations, which included clothes and blankets.
We're basically here for David Sebastian, and he put this event together, and we're collecting blankets for the homeless, and we're going to make all these donations, and we just did a live show on the Metro train.
People like Latrell Swain and Maria Maloya rode the train to support the event.
I think that's great. I think there's a lot of evil going on in the world, and I think he's spreading a lot of positivity, and we need more people like him, you know what I'm saying?
David Sebastian says he was inspired to bring something new and positive to Los Angeles.
Bringing people together in love and raising a vibration and doing something for a good cause and getting stuff to donate to Skid Row.
All items will be donated to #LunchOnMe, an organization built to empower and support people living on Skid Row. In North Hollywood, I'm Katherine Molina, Valley View News. A woman was freed after being held hostage for 2 hours at a train station in Germany. The woman was treated for minor injuries. Police say the attacker was seriously injured during his arrest. Officers later returned to the scene to reassure passengers that the threat of danger was gone, but they still warned people to avoid the area. The border crossing between Jordan and Syria reopened after being closed for 3 years. The closure in 2015 cut a transit route for hundreds of trucks a day. Lebanese President Michel Aoun tweeted that opening the crossing will lower the cost of exporting goods from Lebanon to other Arab countries. Before entering Jordan, Syrians must still obtain a security clearance. Pope Francis canonized 7 new Catholic saints. The 7 are a diverse group, including Pope Paul IV and Archbishop Oscar Romero of El Salvador. The ceremony was held at the Vatican in front of 70,000 people. This comes in the middle of another sexual abuse scandal involving the Philadelphia Archdiocese. One of the world's most famous beach destinations, Boracay, has been reopened for a small group of residents. The resort island was closed off in April for rehabilitation work. The group of residents was invited to test the newly improved facilities, which include an overhaul of the island's outdated sewage systems. Officials say a significant amount of work still needs to be done before tourists are allowed back on the island. That's all for international news. Now back to you in the studio. Qatar will quit the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries early next year. Qatar's energy minister said they're leaving OPEC to focus more on natural gas. They want to boost natural gas production from 77 million tons yearly to 110 million. The country will still attend OPEC's winter meeting in Vienna, scheduled to begin Thursday. Nature broadcaster David Attenborough warned world leaders that climate change could lead to the end of the natural world. At the opening ceremony for the International Climate Conference, called COP24, Attenborough said now is a time for action.
The continuation of our civilizations and the natural world upon which we depend is in your hands.
Representatives from 200 countries attended the UN-sponsored conference. Mexico's president signed an order to investigate the disappearance of 43 students missing since 2014. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador says he wants to clarify facts and get justice for families. During the signing event, family members counted from 1 to 43 in remembrance of the victims. This was the first official order of López Obrador as Mexico's new president. That's it from around the world. Now back to you guys in the studio.